Fresh off the Disrupt stage is John Doerr and Big Gordon in our Backstage studio. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Pleasure to be here.
So you talked to Mark Pincus.
You're better looking than our audience was.
Thank you. So you got a chance to talk to Mark Pincus, kind of grill him on being an internet treasure or trying to turn Zynga into an internet treasure. Now, one of the things that I wanted to know was kind of the direction of the gaming industry. And you being talked about, you saw 4 disruptive trends. You saw disruption in social analytics, the API, the app economy, and the new payment methods. How do you think it's changing today? And John, as an investor, where do you see gaming going as well?
I don't think social gaming is having a huge effect on traditional video gaming. It's very additive.
Yeah.
And just as casual gaming was additive to video gaming. So very additive. We're getting a bunch of new people, and in general, people under 30 on the internet want to do more things at once in less time. And so in social games, you can talk to your friends, build social capital, entertain yourself, communicate all at once. And for somebody like me, feel a little bit productive because I'm actually improving my farm.
Well, of the trends you mentioned, I just kind of want to know the direction you see them going. Like, what do you think Mark has to do to keep Zynga at the forefront of, the evolution in gaming?
I think in a creative business, it always comes back to people. So Colleen McCreary, the head of HR, needs to keep running an organization that allows people to be a CEO, that gets the best and the brightest, the #1 draft picks out of university and turns them loose. There's just no substitute for great people inspired and aligned. So to me, that's job one. There's, in the internet, working at scale is always really hard. Zynga's been spectacular at both its data warehouse and its net operations. It just doesn't crash. And that's also hard. And then new games and also new features. I believe in service-like games. It's really important to have refreshing features like crafting right now in Farmville, like Vegas in Mafia Wars. So new features are to social games what new series and new seasons of The Sopranos are to HBO.
Gotcha. And John, during the panel, you talked about how you used to see the gaming space as kind of these hit-making machines. How do you see them now? And if you could also comment on where you see trends going in this space.
Well, I think the important trend is that we're witnessing the web being reimagined and reinvented. The old web was a web of websites and documents, and this new one is a web of people and places. So the extraordinary thing for me is to see Zynga as a proof point that you can achieve completely unprecedented growth in users, in revenues, and growth in really happy and delighted customers. So I was inspired by what Mark had to say. Now, to the TechCrunch community. Now let's go do that in travel, and let's go do that in health, and let's go do that in areas that we otherwise might not imagine.
Education, commerce.
Education, great one, exactly. So,
and politics. Mark would say, maybe it's time for e-politics.
Yeah, everything is really ripe for disruption. Now, John, you mentioned the term unprecedented growth, which everyone associates with Zynga. And you only have to look at San Francisco, where they just recently leased a huge building not too far from
right
here.
next door.
The growth has been just ridiculous, broad and also domestically speaking.
And they're just getting started.
Yeah.
0 to 1,200
well, that's
employees
my question here.
in less than 3 years.
How sustainable is this kind of growth? What do you have to do at Zynga to kind of maintain that, to manage it? When you're trying to create an operation that touches millions and millions and eventually a billion plus, on a regular basis, how do you deal with that?
Well, there's all the normal things of making sure you have desks where new people can sit. And you'd be surprising how challenging that can be in a popular city like San Francisco. But again, the enemy of scale is when people lose meaning in their daily jobs. And so making sure that everybody has authority match their responsibility and is kind of psyched by the vision of that company, that's priceless. And then the second thing that Zynga focused on inside the doors that I think people outside the doors don't fully understand. Zynga really focuses on happy customers and retention. I think Mark said that yesterday only 1% of customers renew that day.
Okay.
So, you know, virality is interesting,
Yeah.
but if you got a good party going, you're not depending on the next person coming in the front door, unless it's like Snoop Dogg. If you got a good party going, you got to have the people who are in the party want to stay. And there has to be food in the kitchen, and there's got to be music. And if you turn off the music and turn off the food and turn off the bar, you kill the party.
Yeah.
So Zynga's got to keep the food coming and keep people talking to each other and keep the music going.
Yeah. Now, I just have one more question, and then I'll let you guys go because I know you have to catch flights. But the idea of Zynga and independence has been a hot topic, you know, because they're so reliant on Facebook and eventually, you know, Google Games. So how important is it for Zynga to become more independent in the next few years in order to become that internet treasure? Is that...
Well, I'll go first. I would say the independence, you know, the most important partnership for Zynga is with customers.
Yeah.
And the customers will find what they want where they have to go. So having a close, meaningful relationship with the customer is absolutely most important. And whether distribution is single-sourced or multi-sourced, there's proof points in the world that both work. But having that fabulous relationship with customers is the key to the destiny of Zynga.
What do you think, John?
I think Bing said it really well. I don't have anything to add.
Okay, well, thank you so much, guys. Once again, my guests have been John Doerr and Bing Gordon.